Can you guys hear me?
I'm talking, hello, this is me talking.
Banana.
Apples, of course.
Ah, yes.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, OBS went live, and not live, but Force updated right as I brought it up, and it reset all the sound settings on my OBS.
It would not be a stream unless OBS does something dumb.
Yep. So apologies for everybody who was in the pre-stream screen and didn't hear any music. OBS stopped resetting our sound settings every time you force an update. But how is everyone as I knock over my mouse?
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Hot.
Hot?
Yeah. We
Hot.
sort of went from winter to summer, didn't we?
Yeah, in like 2 days, it went from like -degrees at night to like 40 degrees during the day.
What is 40 in freedom degrees?
Too much.
Hot. 40
Um,
in freedom degrees is enough to melt asphalt in some places.
I need to look this up. Don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's about 105, I think.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
Yeah.
Canada, you're not supposed to get that hot.
Oh, no,
What
no,
the
no.
hell?
We are. That's
It-
the worst part.
Yeah, it does get that hot here during the summer, but it's not summer.
We have two
Oh my
seasons: freeze
gosh.
and burn. There is no in between.
And like
That's
over
awful.
here, like in Southern California, it was like 65 today.
It was lovely.
Yeah,
It was a
and
beautiful day.
As
I'm sorry, you want me to move there?
as I'm sure my Canadian friends can attest, fire season has also started several months early.
I don't like the fact that they've officially called it fire season.
And
Welcome to being California.
Well, I mean,
have that
we've
soon.
always had a fire season. At least over here in BC, we've had forest fire season at the same time every year, but it's already well underway, like 2-3 months ahead of schedule. It's going to be real bad this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
like
be
we're
surprised
already
if you guys
seeing
had
at night
floods too.
here.
'cause
We're
of the
seeing like the bright
quick
red
melt.
moons with the smoke,
Yeah.
or
Not
the
good.
sunset, the bright red sunset, I guess.
Jeez, it's
The smoke.
crazy.
And like we're 2 provinces over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if I end up having to evacuate this year
Oh,
Again?
no.
again.
Well, hopefully on a brighter note, things go better in this session.
We're near the water.
And
It's
people
gonna be
don't catch
better.
on fire and doesn't suddenly get to be 105 freedom degrees. So yeah, yeah, if you see me fidgeting around, I got a new fidget toy that Cass got me for my birthday, so like I haven't been able to put it down. But yeah, so the last time we were together, about 2 weeks ago, about 2
Yep.
weeks, the crew made it to the broken down temple where the Cult of Whispers was calling home. While trying to figure out how exactly to go about things, Shara used the waning telepathic energy that she had from downing so many of those weird drinks the previous nights, trying to reach out to see what exactly you all were going to be dealing with down in the temple. And she made contact with something. This something alerted the cultists, who then came outside the temple and greeted you friendly. Didn't want any sort of violence, no bloodshed. Speaking about Shara being a special like chosen one of the Whisperer. After a bit of convincing and a little bit of dealing, Shara and the crew made their way down into the undercroft of this ruined temple and were introduced to the cult of whispers that were less like a cult and more sort of like a hippie commune. They were all about community and just like bringing people into or to the word of the whispered one. Everything that was down there was communal. Shara got a bit of history from a couple of the elders whose stories sort of didn't necessarily line up with what they were expecting. There was a bit of a back and forth of as to who in the group Shara was going to take / convince to be her entourage as she entered into the hidden chamber of the whispered one. Sensing that things were not necessarily playing out the way that they wanted to, the whispered one made their presence known in the form of Mr. Blue, the tiefling who Rory and Jenka talked to back in the speakeasy back in Echo Bay. He apologized for tricking everyone into coming down here, but he really needed to speak to Shara. And after a little bit of more conversation, some of the party members decided to go with Shara into the chamber, while the others decided to wait outside in the communal room. What transpired inside was the group being attacked by a gibbering mouther that had somehow obtained a deity-like essence. Massive in size, it began to attack you with these tendrils with faces of the previously absorbed chosen ones. Needing to defeat these tentacles in order to unblock the wall and make your way back out. It was a bit of a battle. Some people ended up taking a bit more pain. Some almost came close to being absorbed themselves a couple times. But thanks to some lucky dice rolls, you were able to make your way out and began to run from the chamber through the communal room and back up to the surface, while the whispered one began to break through the chamber that seemed to be housing it and tearing after you through the undercroft. And as we pick up today is right where we left off 2 weeks ago, as the group, or as the crew that went down along with a lot of panicking cultists begin to flee out and spread across the land as they exit out from underneath the undercroft. Shara, you and your friends can hear this beast beginning to tear through stone and earth, trying to clamber its way up towards you. Its voice no longer a soft whisper, but just this guttural shriek of eldritch nonsense being thrown out towards anyone who can hear it.
And I believe that Cannonball had given Shara the flare for the bombardment, right? Yeah.
Correct.
So as soon as we're clear of that temple, that flare goes up in the air.
Okay. So while that was going on, Rory, you had decided to take position as captain on the ship for this part of the mission in order to oversee the goings on in the ship and make sure that there was eyes being kept peeled for for any sort of signal flares or any sort of goings on the coastline. For most of the time that they were down below, which was probably about an hour and a half, it was quiet. And every now and then you kind of started like feeling yourself sort of nodding off in boredom, you know, really hoping something was going to happen.
Yeah, she's definitely in her lounge chair drinking something like a sangria again. Sunglasses on, just sunbathing. Like, everything's fine. They got this.
Sunbathing at night.
Oh, it's nighttime?
Yeah, it's nighttime.
Never mind. I'm moonbathing.
And Bryant is on the ship as well, and he's kind of been checking on you and going back and forth between you and the crew, making sure everybody is, you know, keeping up as to what they're supposed to be. And after about 45 minutes, he kind of just takes a seat next to you. You think they're okay down there? It's been a while and we haven't seen anything.
I'm sure they've just gotten sidetracked. I mean, I hope they've just gotten sidetracked. But you never know with weird cultists. I still kind of am betting that they're just braiding hair.
I hope for their sake that this is, you know, as you say, them just braiding hair and not one of those darker cults who worship and commit sacrifices to unspeakable gods.
There has been people going missing.
Quite
Why
a
don't
lot.
you let me keep my optimism?
In
Of
my
course they're not okay. Yeah,
Yes,
something weird is going on.
in my experience, optimism is just something that easily gets you a knife in the back.
Yeah, I know too. I'm just messing with you. They've probably gotten themselves in some danger or some trouble, but they're a good lot. And they know what to signal, so
From what the man in the crow's nest says, it looks like Esteban and them are still waiting near the coastline, waiting to get those crates. Yes, they weren't.
Okay.
I guess they weren't topside.
I mean, it's hard to tell how long something's gonna take. I mean, maybe they needed to hunker down to hide for a while until a more opportune moment appeared to get the crates. I mean, we don't know. I don't think I have any way of getting a message to them right now. Do you?
Not on me, no.
Then we wait, and we trust, and stay alert.
I guess hoping for the best is all we can do.
Look at you all worried. And she kind of pats him on the chin a little bit. They're gonna be fine.
I'm always worried when we have an away team out. There's something with sailors and the high mortality rates of away teams.
You're not wrong. But shouldn't stress too much yourself over it. Nothing you could do. Except for help when called.
I can't help it. That's how Plum raised me, and that's how Plum acted.
Well, with her kids, I don't think she had much of a choice.
Oh, no, this was before the kids. This was when she was on the ships, and the crew was her kids.
So she's always been a bit of a mama possum.
Yeah, about. And every time there was an away mission or anything, she would fret and she would worry and she would haste. And then we would come back and the galley would be full of baked goods. She's a bit of a stress baker.
That is not a problem. Hey, if you feel stressed and you feel like baking, I don't think anyone's gonna complain.
I'm not a stress baker. I guess you call a stress griller.
Still not really hearing a lot of complaints, probably from anybody about that.
Yes, but most don't like coming home to cold meat.
That's fair. Maybe you should expand to, I don't know. Try the baking. Baking lasts better.
Are you telling me to expand my stress?
No, just your methods of dealing with it. I'm sorry, you mentioned baked goods, and Mama Plum makes some really good baked goods, so, you got it on my mind now. It's your fault. I blame you.
She makes a good everything.
That's fair.
I mean, I guess I can go through her cookbooks and maybe whip something up for, everybody when they come back.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm sure they'd love that.
All right.
Or you can grill when they come back. Shara would definitely love that.
A little of both, maybe.
Why not?
I better get started. And he stands up and sort of straightens his jacket up. And as soon as he gives one pull on the jacket, there's just this large ripple of water that kind of rocks the boat as there's a distant explosion coming from the direction of the shoreline.
I'm going to get my spyglass that I had beside me and look in that direction. Stand up, alert.
And you pull the spyglass out and you notice that part of the hillside where this ruined temple is at has suddenly just collapsed in on itself. And the longer you look at it, you can begin to see the destruction beginning to move in just a direct path towards the temple itself. And as you're following it, you begin to see all these purple cloaked or purple robed individuals fleeing out from the undercroft of this ruined temple and just continuing running off into the night. And then
Somebody's kicked the hive.
And then you see Pearl and Jenka come flying out of there. And as the temple itself begins to shake and the ground underneath it begins to collapse, you see the rest of the crew sort of running out. And then there's that blue flare just popped into the sky.
Do we see a target?
Not at the moment, but you see the signal from bombardment to commence.
And trying to remember when we established the signal, am I to assume the bombardment should be at the point of the signal, giving them a moment to remove themselves? Okay. So I'm going to call for everyone to ready the cannons and basically any of our armaments that can reach the distance to the flare is what I'm calling to be loaded, and I'm telling them to hold for the moment because I'm going to give a minute to for whoever sent the flare out to clear the area.
Okay. And as Shara and them begin to clear out the area and the flare is burning in the sky, you see this massive hand come jutting up out of the ground, directly where the ruins were. Just this writhing mass of red meat. And through the spyglass, you could see various faces sort of popping up and then sinking back down into the arm, almost giving out expressions as if they're screaming, but from the distance you're unable to hear them.
That's our target, and I'm going to order a fire.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a D20 roll.
Okay. Can I start playing something for like a battle song to give my crew bardic, or one of them bardic or something? Can I add bardic?
Yeah, you know what? I'll say that you can add bardic inspiration to the cannon team.
Okay. One on the fucking bardic, lame. It's only a 12. That's just,
Good
I'm
enough.
not adding anything to it. It's just a D20 roll plus bardic.
I pretty much all that roll was to see was how on point the cannons were. It was only a DC of 10. You got it. So a majority of the cannons that are fired hit their target. As you give that command to fire, they start launching volley after volley after volley of cannonballs into this area. How much of your ammunition did you want to spend here?
On that thing?
Yeah.
Let's do we're gonna do a quarter of it and then halt and see if it's done, what kind of damage that's done.
Okay. How many cannonballs do you guys currently have at the moment on the ship?
See about that. That's in a book that's in a box that I haven't found yet. That I will find this weekend because I'm on my last pile of boxes. But naturally, the thing I need is in the last box I check, I'm sure.
Of course.
So I can mark down that we used like a quarter of it. I don't know if anyone else was keeping track of I know that I think Cannonball maybe was keeping track of our total on that, but I don't know if you have those figures.
For ammunition, I can pull up my things. I don't have HP.
No, you just need the
I think I put HP in our chat before we ended that
Yep.
the previous session that the got damaged.
I just need to know how many cannonballs you have total at the moment.
Yep.
Since
Give me 1 second.
Rory
I'm gonna have
is
to pull it up. I
Yep,
don't have it right here, but
since Rory is directing about a quarter of the ammunition to be used.
We had 10 chain shots left, 54 regular cannonballs left, 10 grape shots left, and 13 explosive shots left. The explosive shots are for the ballista, not for the cannons.
So which of the?
So it would be normal ammunition.
I think the
Probably
normal
regular
ammunition would be the only thing that would have the reach, right?
Or that would be effective at that range, yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of listen and let them
Okay, so that's
kind of fire till I kind of guesstimate it's about a quarter's worth of our ammunition because this is a big beastie. And then, but I also don't, it looks weird.
Yep.
And so I want to like hold to see if we're even having any kind of effect.
So that's going to be about a volley of 13 cannonballs.
Okay.
And you see as the cannonballs begin to fly and they reach their distance, some are slamming into the almost like the foundation in the temple itself, and others are directly like impacting into this creature, and you can see that holes are being blown into the arm itself. It's kind of like weakening it and sort of making it collapse, but as it's like sort of collapsing down on itself, you could see that it's also starting to repair as well. But as the final volley, the final cannonballs of this volley sort of land in the area, the entire temples, the entire like temple area seems to collapse in on itself, creating, due to the destruction that was underneath and the destruction that you laid on top of it, creating a decent sized sinkhole as like the arm is sort of pulled back down into the earth itself.
Is it like retreating? Does it look like it's retreating?
It looked like it fell.
Like it fell. Okay. I'm going to hold and just kind of watch to see if there's further movement or if I've created at least enough of a distraction for my people to get away.
Okay.
I'm looking for a sign on the shore of our crew. And if the creature starts stirring again, I'm gonna call for another volley. But this one a little bit slower, more of a distraction.
All right, for those of you who are on the shore, as soon as you get probably about 15 feet away, you begin to hear the cannon shots coming from the ship, and then the whistle of the cannonballs flying overhead and then slamming down into the temple and into this creature's arm. And it goes for about a couple minutes as 13 cannonballs fly from the ship and slam in, and then cause this enough destruction to cause a sinkhole to pull the arm back down. And you sit there for a moment and everything seems silent.
The cultists that ran out from the temple, the ones that made it out, are they sticking around to watch as well, or have they just started running and they did not stop?
There isn't a cultist to be seen that stopped. The moment this happened, as soon as they broke the cover from the temple, they just fled out, going various, like just going random directions in just a sheer panic.
Okay. I don't think we actually discussed what we were going to do in this specific scenario, but we do know that we have some crew nearby, the ones that we traveled up here with. So I think
And
Shara
the
is probably...
ship would be lit up too. Like
Yeah.
I'd make sure the lanterns were on, and I'll probably have dancing lights kind of moving around up high to try to create a beacon, because I'm sure our shore people are just a little a ways from the main ship. By a long
Yeah,
boat.
I think Shara would be heading to the crew that she knows is nearby. Not sure what else to do aside from that. Going back in the direction of the temple seems like a real bad idea. And maybe going back to town currently is possibly not the best idea either, after, bombarding the coastline with our ship. So, meeting up with the crew. Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Is anyone taking a moment to investigate the sinkhole?
No, that seems like
No.
a bad plan.
I wanna, but I won't. But I wanna.
I mean, we won't stop you if you want to do it.
It sounds like a bad idea.
Going once.
My
Going
greed, my intelligence. I won't do it, but it hurts me, Rojan. It hurts me.
Okay. So nobody is going to confirm the kill.
No.
Okay. So Rory, after the first bombardment, you take a look at your spyglass and it doesn't seem like anything's coming up from that sinkhole, and your crew members seem to be heading down the hillside towards the coastline to meet up with the rowboat team.
Yeah, as long as the thing's not chasing, because I don't care if it's dead or alive. I just want my crew to be safe. This sounds like the island's authorities' problem.
Let the island authority handle the elder god.
Yep, pretty much. That ain't my job. That ain't my crew's job.
Okay.
We're gonna peace out.
So about a half hour or so, everyone is rowed back to the ship itself.
When they come aboard, I'll He's standing there helping, and I'm still kind of like, well, actually, I'll let like the others kind of pull them aboard. I'm going to keep like a hawk vision on where the creature was. I just don't trust it, so I'm still keeping an eye out until we're at a distance at sea
Okay.
for any kind of movement.
Give me a perception roll at this point.
Okay. Nope. I have human eyes at night. Yeah, that's gonna be not great. That's gonna be a 7.
Okay. So you're out there and you're checking the sinkhole and everything, but from the combination of just the smoke from the attack and everything, you can't really get a good line of sight around the hole itself. You think you see like human movement, but there's nothing that you can't necessarily 100% confirm it.
Mm. All right. Once the crew's aboard, everyone's aboard. I'll look around. No crates, no nothing of that nature.
Nope.
I just kind of note that and go, okay, so it's a really bad idea all around, it seems. We'll find out what happened. And I'm going to send orders to set sail.
Where are you setting orders to sail to?
I think for now, I'm just going to have us go out to sea to regroup.
Okay.
So I'll have them go west. A little, maybe southwest.
Southwest, so down between the islands?
No, that's a bad idea, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Between the islands.
Yep.
We'll just go west. We'll just go out to sea a little bit.
If you go west, you go into the islands. So you would have to go east.
Oh, am I looking at the map wrong? This
Right over
way.
the map upside down.
Yes.
I want to go out here.
That way's east.
Oh, east then.
Yeah.
I don't know how to map. That's right. West is this direction. Duh.
Well, you never claimed to be our cartographer, so.
I didn't.
I don't read the map. I just tell people what to do.
I don't know why I always confuse that on the compass. Somebody change the world's compass, okay, for me so it makes more sense in my head. That'd be great.
This brings to light the fact the map needs a compass on it.
I had been putting a compass on the map previously, but they're just kind of cumbersome. I like it better without
Clearly,
it.
it's needed for me.
But yeah, you know what? Maybe
Look,
when I do the next edit revision on the map, I'll add a compass.
look, on our maps, north is always up.
Exactly.
Alrighty. So yeah, I'm just gonna head out to sea for a bit, and then I'm gonna call. I'm gonna see if anyone needs healing. Is there anyone who was injured? Do I see any visible injuries from the crew?
A couple people are pretty banged up.
Okay.
Some of us are more blood than fur at this point.
Yeah, Muir looks like they've been hit by at least 2 semis at the moment.
Possibly
Okay.
at the same time from the opposite directions.
Pearl can offer to help because she didn't really take any she didn't take any damage, and I believe I have healing spirit, so that would give everybody 10 rounds of healing.
Oh yeah, that would probably be the better option than my little second level healing word.
Is that
Yeah.
Is that the 5-foot square?
It is. It's our favorite conga box.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it's just the conga line back and forth.
Yeah, and for flavor for Pearl, it would look like kind of a string of pearls that would just be kind of floating around in the air that people could walk through or under. So it would be a 5-foot cube, And let's see. So it would be 10 rounds, and if I use not there yet. I can't upcast it yet, but I can cast it at 2nd level, so that would be 1d6 times 10. So do you want me to roll them for each person, or how would you like me to do that?
I think everybody here will roll 10d6, and that's how many HP you recover.
Everybody roll their own?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Since we're gonna have like multiple people running through there, we'll just do it that way so they can recover their HP at the same time.
Darn, after I have a whole thing of d6s. Well, you can't see it.
It's okay. You can use those when we do this in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Every druid should carry a little package of d6s, right?
Rogues too.
So I gained 5 HP back.
Yeah.
How could you gain 5 HP?
You said
Oh.
1d6, right?
No,
1d6 10 times.
1d6 times 10. So 10
Oh,
d6s.
Well,
Yeah.
I only had taken 5 HP of damage, so
Oh, okay.
I effectively gained 5 HP.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm thinking, wow, how do you
I'm
roll
like,
zeros?
how did you roll that bad? That's not
That's sheer
possible.
talent.
Little do you
Years
know,
and years of
it's
training.
one of his curses.
Yeah.
He can't math and she can't math. Dear.
Yep. Once
Hey, I get
everyone's
42 back.
wow.
There was 4 6. No, sorry, I'm missing 2. 434.
So once everyone's all healed up, I'm gonna gather everyone around, and we're all gonna go to the captain's quarters and gather around the table, and I get people drinks, and we have chairs brought in if anyone needs to sit down. And then I'm just gonna kind of take my hat off and look at the group and go, all right, what happened?
Well, you know the job that like sent us out that way in the first place, the crates or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't real. There was no
Okay.
crates.
We were being played.
Yep, by a god.
I'm sorry, bring that by me again?
Did you were you watching when, a portion of the island collapsed and there was that big hand?
Oh,
There was a rest of, a body attached to that as well, somewhere down there. And it tried to like make us, the whole thing was gross.
why
And
us?
okay, so I don't know.
Insight check.
I don't think it matters.
Insight check.
You can definitely insight check.
She was too quick to say I don't know. 19.
Yeah, I mean, she even started to explain it, then she like stopped herself. Clearly, she had something to do with it.
What did Shara do? I look over at one of the others. At Mirror and Cannonball and Pearl and Janka.
Trust me, mateys, there are certain things in this world you don't. Well, I mean, actually, never mind. You saw what the hell came out of that temple.
I don't know if that was a god. I don't really believe that, but something
It
old.
wanted to make the whole world of one mind, literally.
Good luck.
No, literally. Tentacle goes in, mind comes out.
Oh.
And it
That's
did not like what it saw. Cannonball starts laughing.
interesting. So the cultists, do they not have their own minds?
I think it's just
Brainwash?
the chosen that like become one with it. The rest of the cultists, I don't think they had any idea.
Like a hive mind situation, or
Yeah, kind of, I think. Like
Hmm.
it wanted us to like melt into it and become part of it or some shit. But
Did you say
like,
something about chosen ones?
okay, so before we went in there,
Uh-huh.
okay, backtracking a little bit further, I drank really heavily the other night,
You
and
drink
then
really heavily every night, dear. But yes, carry on.
the morning where there was like those worm things coming out of me and Echo, and we did the little like mind thing.
Yeah, that
So
was pretty awful.
yeah, I'm never doing that again, by the way. I
Good.
I did that just to see if there was any like cultists in the area, so we would know kind of how to get in there. But when I did that, I saw something. I spoke with something that like knew I was doing that, and it was like, "Hey, let's have a chat." And I was like, "Fuck no." And then it sent its cultists out, and they're like, "Hey, come on, we're cool." And they're like, well, we got to do a job here anyway. So, we went in, and then they're like, by the way, you're chosen, come speak to our God. And we're like, we don't know what the fuck that means. So we asked around. Nobody else seemed to know what the fuck that means. But there was other chosen, and they were like in there deeper, and they were like not going to come out. So we're like, let's go talk to them. And then we went in, and then there's the thing, and then it all just went to hell.
I imagine so.
The tentacles are what remains of the chosen.
I don't think we want that.
No,
You don't want your brain stuck to a tentacle?
no.
So they let you talk. Who was the chosen that they let in?
Me.
Ah,
I think because I like talked to it with my mind.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
And what have we learned about psychic abilities that you're not used to?
Well, we learned that if we drink too much, we get psychic abilities. So maybe we have to drink more so they go away again.
Not exactly where I was going with that, but how about you just keep the psychic abilities to the professionals?
Yeah, I hope these abilities, whatever they are, I hope they go away. And if they don't, I'm still not ever fucking using them again. Not after that shit.
I'll give you some tips just in case on how to shield better.
Do the
But
tips involve more drink?
drinking tends to lower shields, not strengthen them.
We'll work on it.
Okay. Well, you signaled me, and so we bombarded. It didn't seem like it had too much effect on the creature, though. Last I saw, it was healing, but it stopped rising, and it didn't seem like it was chasing you, so I stopped the bombardment, but I doubt it's dead based on the healing I saw. But that's not our problem. So,
It's really not, although it does kind of feel like the sort of thing we should warn the city about.
that's what I wanted to talk to you about. If you think we should just get the fuck out and let them figure it out on their own. I mean, all that noise, someone's going to go investigate eventually. Or do we want to go back into port and risk being detained? Questioning. Give them information.
Well, I mean, you're a pretty smooth talker. You can talk us out of being detained, right?
We destroyed a temple.
An already ruined temple.
And we bombarded the land without permission. But I think I can talk our way out of it for sure, but we'll still probably be detained. They're gonna need to investigate it, and it could be pinned on us. All this trouble. Ooh, you awakened blah 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 blah. I don't know. Sounds like the cultists weren't the most popular figures in the town, so if we point fingers appropriately.
And we
I
might
mean,
even get rewarded for it, matey, as we did bombard it into dust.
yeah, I mean,
Oh.
it was the cultists' place, right? It's totally their fault.
All right, well, we're heading into port then, yeah?
I believe the Hunters Guild even said they'd give us good reward if we got rid of a threat to the town while everybody was out running after sea creatures.
Again, I don't really think we got rid of the threat. I think that it retreated, maybe.
Well, at the very least, we bought them time. That's
Hey,
worth a reward.
actually, this might work out in our favor. If we tell them about this like big nasty threat that's much closer to home, they might
Mm-hmm.
recall all the people that they sent out after that other creature to deal
Mm-hmm.
with this one, and then we go after that other creature.
I think we discounted that earlier, but we could put a pin in that.
Just, brainstorming. We probably need the money.
All right, well, let's head into port. I'd like each of you to give me a detailed report, and I will record it in the journal because this is very interesting information. So, that's what Rory does for her time. She's just going to interview each person individually and try to get as many details of their experience and what they saw
Okay.
on paper so that she can report that later to her organization. And she gives the orders to head into port.
Okay. Um, and so as you collect everyone's report, it doesn't take too long to get back into the location that the ship sailed to originally wasn't too far from where the city was located anyway. It was only almost a day's travel out. So you're able to pull into port not too long. By the time you pull back into port, it's probably going on about 1 a.m. You pull into the dock, and to your surprise, you're not stopped by anyone. In fact, the only one that seems to be present is the dockmaster, the Gearforge gentleman.
We'll approach the dockmaster and say, "You heard what happened? You heard the explosions, right? From here, from the docks, from the town?"
I haven't heard any explosions at all, ma'am. What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Okay.
Does that make sense to me from the distance?
Oh no, you definitely know that they should have heard something. If anything, they would have heard at least the cannons firing.
You heard nothing. Is anything wrong with your functions?
My ears are functioning perfectly, ma'am. I've heard no explosions or anything of the sort.
I look around, there's no activity at all.
Just a couple more of like the Gearborn dock workers, but
Do you see anyone that's not Gearborn?
not cruising the dock, you don't.
There's probably a tavern close
What was
by,
that?
right? On the docks.
Yeah, there is. There is a specifically a sailor's tavern on the docks.
Oh, but they're all closed up though, aren't they? Was the guild nearby?
Yes, the guild's office is near the docks because the most of the hunters guild are sea hunters. They're monster hunters.
All right, I'll go back onto the ship and say, Dockmaster didn't hear anything, and there's no activity out there. That's not a great sign. They definitely should have heard something. Should we maybe go talk to the guild, tell them, report what we saw, what happened? We might have a hard time getting people to believe us, considering unless these Gearforged just don't hear properly. But you would think there would be more townspeople out looking at, what the explosions were about or something, but
Yeah, it seems kind of weird. Um, I think we should find somebody to tell about this mess. And if they don't believe us, I'm sure those cultists that escaped will make their way here eventually, and they'll be telling them the same thing.
all right. Shore party. Who wants to go talk to the guild? Can't just be me. I wasn't the one that witnessed all this stuff.
I spoke to the guild people before we left. I guess I should at least come to report back.
I agree.
That means I probably should go with you.
I would appreciate me tea.
Okay.
I don't like how quiet the town is.
Oh yeah, it's dead quiet.
I really don't like this, matey.
Pearl, Shara, why don't you come as well? Janka, you want to keep watch over the ship? And I know she's not really here right now, so I assume she says yes.
Jacob gives a thumbs up.
Yeah, gives a thumbs up. Wanting to kind of just kind of tell her to keep a close eye on the hillside to see if you did notice and keep watch if you see any cultists or anything. Like, I tell her to just keep her eyes open. And the rest of us will head over to the guild.
Okay.
Can I ask how long, if a cultist was running at a reasonable pace from the temple towards
They would
the
not
town?
make it to the town before the ship.
Okay, but about how long would it take them?
About a day.
About
Oh,
a day.
wow.
Wow.
About a
Okay.
day.
Okay.
And that's if they knew where they were going. From the looks of a lot of the cultists that you saw, they were fleeing in a panic. That wasn't really, oh, I'm going to go this way because it's safe. It's just, I'm going somewhere that's not here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, I'm definitely going along.
as the crew begins to make their way towards the guild hall itself, it's very apparent that something is very wrong with the town. Even though there was a drinking curfew set in place, there isn't anybody on the streets at all.
None of the, well, I don't want to call them Warforged, but none of the
Gearforged dock workers and the dockmaster were there doing their normal.
Did any of them follow us? Are there any like dock workers or Gearforged in the city as we're walking?
No, they remained on the docks and sticking to their tasks. Though there are no flesh-bound humanoids in sight. You know that there was a small detachment left in the city town guard to keep an eye on those who remained behind from the hunts.
And they're nowhere to be seen either.
Nowhere to be seen.
This is not normal.
I agree. Something is unsettling. I'm going to cast. Do I have to see? You can see. I can't see anybody. I'm gonna look in the windows. Is there anyone? Any shadows? Any figures? Any lights?
Are you like looking into just to like a random building that you're passing by?
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a perception roll.
Don't any of you have one of them useful sense alive things around us spells?
I have 18.
18. As you look inside, you can see inside this small warehouse-like building that there are two individuals inside that are laying on the ground.
I stop. They don't look like they're sleeping. They just look like they're laying down, like they fell. Like, can I
Well-
see like details about like?
You can see one of them clearly, and it looks like their eyes are closed as well.
I'm gonna halt the group. Mirror, and I point to the door of the warehouse. Open it.
All right. As a non-rogue, I am going to. Does the door open easily? I guess is the first real question.
Yes. If you were to just pull on the door, it would just slide right open. It doesn't look like anybody had set the locks for the night.
Okay, then we're just gonna pop it open.
Okay.
As he goes to do that, I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
And that gives, whoops, Daisy, sorry. That gives me, sense the ability to sense the presence of magic within 30 feet. Now, it doesn't say what kind of a aura that is. So I guess it would be 30 feet radiating out from where
From
I
you.
am.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah. It can penetrate most barriers blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. But he's opening the door.
Okay. And when you cast Detect Magic and you look inside, you can see a faint aura of like an enchantment magic sort of emanating off these two bodies.
Okay. I kind of put an arm out to make sure that Muir doesn't go over to touch them.
Rory's walking inside towards the bodies.
And as you get closer,
Mirror.
you can see that they're steadily breathing.
I'm detecting an aura of enchantment around them.
Rory's head snaps back over to you. Is that what you were mumbling?
Yes, yes.
Enchantment?
I think it's enchantment.
Not good. Ooh. I want to try something, but it's a risk. No, I shouldn't try it with a psychic being. Never mind. I'll hold that. Gotta learn from Char's mistakes.
Somebody has to.
That's the safe way to play it. Would Shara do this? Yes, I'm not going to do it.
Because Rory really wants to detect thoughts to see what's going on in their sleepy brains, but I think that's a bad call. So since Shara shared with her what triggered everything, I think that she would make that decision. Yeah, Rory's gonna motion not to touch them as well. We need to find out if this is affecting more people. Let's go to the next building.
Now, other than the aura around the two individuals, is there kind of an aura just around, or no?
It's the enchantment magic is focused on those two people. Everything else in the room is bare of any trace of magic.
I can hold the spell up for 10 minutes. Let's
Then
be
let's go
quick.
quickly. Try to see as many of these buildings to see how many people are affected. We gotta get a sense of the area here. Let's go a few over. And Rory will rush everyone a couple buildings down, trying to create a sense of range in our 10 minutes that we have this spell up.
Okay,
And
so as you pass through this area, can I get a group investigation roll? Since everyone here is technically going to be involved in this.
19.
Investigation, correct?
Investigation, yes.
15.
15, 19,
11.
11,
10.
10,
6.
6. Still good enough for a success. Who had the 19?
I did.
Okay. So Rory, as you're rushing people down the road, your eye, like your peripheral vision, catches something down the alleyway. As you're rushing by, and as you it's up to you if you want to stop and look or if you want to keep going.
Something caught my eye.
Yeah, something caught your eye.
I trust my instincts. I stop. I hold the group. I look at closer, go to see what that was.
It's a port guard, sort of crumpled up against the wall.
Pearl, do you see the same enchantment?
I'll
And-
hold up my hand. Do I see anything?
Yep, like right as you look at him, you see the same enchantment aura sort of emanating off of this guard.
Yes, I do.
Not good. Well, let's go further in. And I'm gonna take us we were kind of skirting the docks towards the guild hall, but now I'm trying to get a quick sense of how much this is affected within the 10 minutes we've had. So I'd like us to run down an alleyway, and then go to look, and then we'll stop and look around, try to find a building with people in it.
Okay. I'll say with the success that the group had with their investigation rolls, you begin to go as many directions into as many buildings as possible. Every person that you find has this same enchantment magic cast upon them. They are normally crumpled to the floor. In some of them were in the middle of meals. Others were at their desks writing something. Others were just out, just in the middle of the street, crumpled up, as if they were just walking.
This has affected a wide range. It could even be town-wide. Hard to tell. We've only really mapped out this one area of the district, but...
Do you think it affected the Gear Forge somehow too? That they didn't hear anything? They're
Possibly.
still conscious, but...
It might have dulled them or something, yeah. Had some sort of effect, but not as strong as on the others. That's a good point. Cannonball, do you remember if the guild hall had any kind of warding magic on it? There might be some people there that are still up.
I'll be quite frank with you, matey. I didn't bother to check when I was here the last time.
Let's try. A place like that would be one of the likely places to have some sort of protection.
Does sound logic to me.
And as you're sort of talking with one another, there's a bit of a commotion that comes out from one of the alleyways as Carl, the owner of Boom Boom Boom, comes stumbling out of the alleyway with just a look of surprise seeing other awake people.
Carl?
Oh, think whatever god any of you worship that you other people are awake. What the hell happened?
Actually, I don't think I met him, so someone else says his name.
No, I think it was Shara
And Cannonball. And Muir.
and Mir. Yeah, Mir was there as well.
Yeah, no, Cannonball is in cleric mode right now, and he's like,
You can thank old Hydra for that one, matey.
Why aren't you affected? Were you outside the city?
No, I was up at my bar, just doing inventory since wonderful curfew happened, and next thing I know, a couple of my employees just take a tumble to the ground and are dead asleep.
Why not you?
I felt a little drowsy, but I kind of just shook it off.
Are you part Fae? Sorry for asking, but
No, I'm 100% goblin.
Goblin. Is that fairly unique in the town, by the way?
In most towns there is at least a small goblin community. I don't know. I tried shaking them. I splashed water on them. Nothing seemed to wake them up. So
Are any of your staff goblins?
no, I have a wide variety of employees, but no other goblins.
Do you have some goblin friends that are in the city, though?
Oh yeah, I have quite a few goblin friends that are in the city. Other business owners, but I haven't been able to find any of them.
Well, we'll keep an eye out. Why don't you stay with us? for
Yeah,
now?
I'm thinking that's the best idea. I don't know what's going on. The last thing I want to do is fall asleep unguarded.
We just came into town. We know a little bit about what might be going on, but not enough. We were surprised to find the town like this. We were going to head to the guild. We thought maybe of all the places they might have some sort of warding magic, unless you can think of somewhere else that might have been warded against some sort of town-wide area of effect enchantment.
Here's the weird thing. This entire town is supposed to be warded.
Really?
Yeah, it was we have wards up because we've got a hunter's guild that goes out and hunts sea monsters. Well, some of those sea monsters, while their physical bodies are dead, their psychic entities or spiritual forms aren't. So it's meant to keep all of us safe when they bring them in.
Do you know how the wards work? Is it something that could have been dismantled?
Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure if anyone disabled the wards, there would have been some sort of notification.
I look at the group. Cultists, you think, maybe?
It could.
Yeah, it's possible. Perhaps now is a good time to also mention. You remember Mr. Blue, the guy that gave us the job?
Yeah.
Well, he was like an avatar, I guess, of that god creature. So it's quite possible there was more of those in the town.
More avatars.
Yeah.
Stay
Basically,
wild and out. Thank you for that raid.
basically unrobed cultists. How rude. But smart.
Right.
Well, wait, are you talking about the whisper cult?
Yes.
A bunch of
unfortunately-
crazies that just would come around and like disturb my patrons and babble nonsense?
No, they're unfortunately doing a bit more than that. Try kidnapping, murder, and worshipping an old supposed god.
But possibly not on purpose.
Not to mention that thing, blowing up the temple up north and, well, thankfully being blown up with cannon fire.
You blew up the temple north?
Well, it was
Carl,
either
did
that
you
or
hear?
And the
Did you
eldritch
hear
god
anything?
that was in it, matey. And the eldritch god that was in it.
Okay. One at a time. No, I haven't heard any explosions or anything like that. It was a quiet night. And wait, eldritch beings underneath that old temple?
Yeah.
Aye, matey.
It was surprising for me too.
Wait, that would make the rumors of that place true.
Great.
That's why we wanted to investigate it, matey.
No, you don't understand. The rumors are true.
Enlighten us.
Then there's a Koatoa god underneath that place.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we can safely say that it's not all rumor.
That makes it worse. All right. We got to get to the guild, and we need to get there fast.
And that's where we were heading.
Hopefully somebody there is awake.
Well, let's go. Keep your eyes open. And we'll rush over towards the guild.
Okay. And as you rush to the guild, as you get closer to the building itself, you can hear a bit of a commotion, as there are numerous voices sort of like talking over one another in a panic, and a few other voices trying to like call for order and trying to calm everybody down.
We'll head towards that sound.
And as you walk in, there's a young-ish white dragonborn, dressed in the guild's colors and armor, like with his hands up, trying to calm down like a small group of people who are just blasting them with questions. You would see along like the walls of the guild hall itself that there are multiple sleeping bodies just sort of laid out, blankets and pillows and everything, just trying to, you know, make sure that they're taken care of. But a vast majority of those of the town who has been found is now in this guild hall, along with a majority of those hunters that were left behind.
Do I see is the Dragonborn the guy I was talking to before that I sold the statue to?
That was another dragonborn.
Okay.
He is not there.
Do I see that individual? No.
No. The only guild representative you see at the moment is this white dragonborn.
Who's awake, obviously.
I will approach with the group.
If I do a perception check, would I be able to notice if particular groups or particular races are awake as opposed to others?
I wouldn't even make you roll a perception check. You notice just from like the group of people that's in front of this dragonborn and the people that you've seen as you've passed by as you walk into the guild hall, that this is affecting everyone. That no specific race or class or anything seem to be immune to this. It's just some people were affected, others weren't.
Excuse me.
Look, if you lost if any of your family members are missing,
I have information about what's happening. But first, is the guild warded more than the city itself? Does it have additional protection?
He kind of like looks at the group. He's like, folks, I'm going to go with these people, find out what they know. I'll be back. Just calm down, get something to drink. Everything will be fine. And he just quickly just whisks you off into like a private room and shuts the door. What in the hells is going on? One moment we're preparing for the next day, town's winding down, and all of a sudden everybody just starts dropping.
Remember that little cultist problem we talked about, matey?
I don't know you, but I know of... Are you talking about the Whisper Cult?
Aye. And if it wasn't you, then I spoke to another representative.
Yeah, you probably spoke to the one in charge, but well, he fell. No, not fell. He's alive. He's just, well, asleep.
How did the people that are here, how did they escape? Because we were at sea, but how did the others escape falling?
I don't know. I haven't been able to get any information from these people. They're in a panic. They brought their loved ones and their friends and family here. I and a few others of the guild didn't fall. We felt a little drowsy and everything, but we were able to shake it off.
So even in the guild hall, some fell.
Yes, from my understanding, this is happening all throughout the city.
When was the last time you checked your wards around the city?
We do that on a daily basis.
You may have a mole problem in your ranks. The cultists, I guess they have avatars of some kind. Okay, group, let's lay it out. And we're just gonna like tell them everything. I don't really see a reason unless someone kind of stops me, and I'll prompt some of the others to kind of chime in on the parts I know they know better based on their personal reports to me. But I will maybe leave out the point about Shara being a chosen one. Just I'm gonna let her make that decision on if she wants to share that information. But other than that, I think we'll share the whole experience, including the bombardment, and then coming back and discovering there's an enchantment on these people, and our suspicions that it's related to what happened.
Yeah, and I think Chara would give the full information about the whole chosen thing, emphasizing that she doesn't believe it necessarily had to do anything with her in particular. She just happened to be the next target of this thing.
And you could just see by the look on this Dragonborn's face that it's a lot to take in. He
Yeah. I know. Give it a moment.
So you believe our wards were tampered with? Like, give me a moment.
If you were
He sort
specifically
of
warded against psychic attack and a psychic attack has occurred, then
the wards aren't just for psychic attacks. The wards are up to cover a variety of situations if any sort of psychic or spiritual entity breached the town.
Well, it's either that or this being is even more powerful than we thought.
So,
I don't think we destroyed it. I'm going to be very clear about that to you.
give me one moment. I will be right back. And you see him sort of rush out. He leaves the door open and he grabs another one of the hunters and he whispers something to them. They give a nod and them and one other hunter sort of leave the hall.
I look at the group. Well, that went. Well, that just went.
And he comes back and he shuts the door behind him. I just sent 2 hunters out. Excuse me. I just sent 2 hunters out to check on the wards to make sure they're still standing.
Can you get them back real quick, please?
I can't. I would have to run after them, and well, my responsibility is here.
I just wanted to check to see if they were some of the ones that we shouldn't trust.
How would you tell?
I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts on this guy because I realized I should have done that before I unloaded ever this information to him. But I'm gonna see what's he thinking, surface level thoughts. As I say, I have my ways.
It's nothing but panic. Like
okay.
It's you can feel in his mind that right now it's burning through like 1,000,000 miles a second on what if situations.
Okay.
You can tell that like stress is getting to this young man, and this is definitely something that's far above his pay grade.
Sorry, I'm getting a popcorn delivery. I love you, hubby. So sensing that, I don't think I need to delve deeper because panic is earnest and an earnest emotion that people should be feeling right now. So I'm just gonna tell him I have an ability where I can see into people's minds. So if there's anyone you question or want screened, let me know.
I honestly haven't even gone through ideas of this could have been an inside job. Because if it's an inside job, why did the higher ranking individuals fall? I mean, out of everyone that was still left in the guild hall after the others left on the hunt, I'm now the highest ranking officer. And I've only been here 6 months.
Well, it's suspicious to take over. Let's just say hypothetically, I wanted to infiltrate an organization. I wouldn't immediately target some high-ranking official. Too many people are familiar with them. Too many people are relying on them. A lot of information at once. You start at the bottom. You start with the people that people overlook. Then you work your way up to the point where you get someone with the access you need for the purpose that you are for. There's not necessarily a need to go after leaders.
nobody in the guild would even have the ability to take those wards down. There's one
They might not, but the being might.
There's one individual in the city who even knows how to dispel them, or even has the power to dispel them.
I'm just saying they could be puppets.
And who might that be, matey?
The high priest, but they're gone. They went on the first ship out for the hunt. Well, the second ship. The Ravon were the first.
I don't really rightly know. I'm just telling you what suspicions I have and what my crews has come up with so far. Just saying it's something to think about and be cautious of.
I'll leave that up to you and your friends. I have this city to worry about, the city and its individuals to worry about at this moment.
Oh, it's not my job to clean up your guild, but if things get back to somewhat normal, people start waking up, I'm just saying, be careful who you trust.
Once we get through this, then an investigation can begin into what exactly happened.
Sometimes, maybe this will all break in the daylight. Certain magics lose their potency in the sun. It's possible. Maybe we wait? I look around at my people. You clearly see a look of like, Rory doesn't know what to do now. She's reached her limit.
My biggest concern is why did this happen? I mean, surely it's got to be connected. The timing, it's got to be connected. But why did this happen? And like what's going on right now that we aren't seeing? What's happening in this town that we aren't seeing right now?
Okay. I am going to tug on Rory, being short. So I'll try to get her attention.
Go ahead, Pearl.
Well, I didn't learn to spell magic today, but I did learn lesser restoration. If this dragonborn here would like to take me to his superior, perhaps I could try and see if I can break the enchantment.
You can give it a shot. It doesn't hurt.
If we could bring the captain back, I'm all for it.
Let's give it a try.
Okay. And he's, follow me. He's sort of just like very brisk walk, begins to walk into like deeper into the hall, and he goes into a another room where this large green dragonborn is is laid out on a bed. A couple of the lesser hunters that are, well, not lesser hunters, but lower ranked hunters are there standing guard and keeping an eye on him.
Pearl probably had to jog to keep up, but she's there, and she will hold her staff and put out an arm, and may I touch his arm? Do you mind? Is that okay? Or lay a hand?
Do what you need to do if it's going to wake the old man up.
Okay, so just to be on the safe side, I am going to touch him, and actually, I think I'll touch his forehead, and then I am going to cast Lesser Restoration, and we'll see what happens.
You bring up Lesser Restoration.
Okay.
Okay, so you cast Lesser Restoration, and like your hand gives out a soft glow as you place it onto the captain's arm, and you wait there a moment, and you don't see any sort of change in their demeanor. Though you don't see any sort of negative effect either.
Okay.
Is it something supposed to happen, right?
Well, it was a risk. It's not exactly the right thing, but
It was
it's
worth
all
trying,
I've
Pearl.
got. Uh,
It was a good idea.
well, the only other thing I might be able to do. Ah, dear. Now, let's see.
I could try something as well, but it's risky.
I like risk.
Huh. If I pass out, get me back on the ship and as far away from this frickin' island as possible to see if that breaks this enchantment. All right?
Of course, Captain.
Pearl's mentally kicking herself that she didn't memorize Dispel Magic. You can't learn them all.
I'm gonna try to cast Detect Thoughts on the captain.
Okay.
This is dumb.
So you do what you normally do and you cast Detect Thoughts.
Dive
And
in deep.
you dive as deep as you possibly can. And you don't really get many thoughts themselves.
I'm gonna use telepathy because I have telepathy now, and I'm just gonna scream mentally at this captain. I'm gonna say, "Are you in there, Captain?"
As you do that, you just hear,
Hey!
shh. He's sleeping.
Who am I talking to?
Ask your shark.
What do you want with these people?
All will be revealed in time, child.
Like how much time? Like 5 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, an aeon? Like, can we put this in quantitative terms?
How soon before sunrise?
That's not cool. I don't think you have these people's consent.
That's the great thing about being a god.
Okay, I think God's a bit of a strong word, right? Like, clearly you're just a very strong psychic being, but kind of. I mean, all the gods are not. I've never heard of you. What's your name? Whispered one? Whispered? The Whispered? Ooh, mysterious. Also, never heard of you. And I like lore.
You would not know of me. You are not one of my children.
Thank goodness. Man, I would look real ugly.
There's no need to insult them, but...
Oh no, I'm insulting you.
Well, I am not a god of beauty.
Not easily riled, are you?
Why should I be riled at the opinions of a lesser being?
Okay.
You and yours are nothing but fleas compared.
So what do you want of these fleas? What's your goal?
This is just but a lesson for that shark.
Why are you focusing on Shara?
She was to be one with me. Enlightened.
She didn't want that. Get over it. You don't need to be like acting like some jilted lover over it. Just pick someone else.
Oh, there is already one else wandering with me. This is just a lesson. No matter how many cannonballs you strike me with, no how many temples you attempt to bury me under, you cannot silence a whisper.
Cool line. How many years did it take you to come up with that one, huh?
I'm not gonna lie, that was a couple hundred.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. It was good. I can't lie. It was good. Well,
Though, I'm not malicious. I'll tell you
Are
what.
you?
I'll trade you.
I'm all about trade.
Your shark for the lives of these people.
Oh, I don't give a shit about the people. You're not getting my shark. New trade.
That's the only trade I'm offering.
Okay. So, this town, clearly that she's not the only thing that you want. Beings of your nature tend to have double motives, or triple, or quadruple. Is this a message?
More of an escape plan.
Making everyone pass out helps you escape? How's that?
Can't hunt me if you're not awake.
Interesting that a god would fear hunters.
It's less of fear and more tiresome. Their kind are known to be able to seal us away if needed. I don't necessarily wish to be sealed, and, well, my followers aren't really the combative sort. I think I'm gonna have to change that the next time around. Less hair braiding and communal dinners and more war.
It does cause more attention. You were playing it smart.
Smart, maybe, but miscalculations.
So, do you plan on spreading to some other island next then? You done with this one?
I would tell you, but that would be too many spoilers. And if we continue to talk, I'm afraid that mind of yours would, well, cease to function. So I'm just gonna cut off here. Let you enjoy the remainder of the night with these poor souls, and in the morning, I hope you have nets.
You hope we have nets. Are they gonna turn into fish? What's...
And like the communication just stops.
Shit. I'm gonna wake up out of this with a headache, aren't I?
Oh no, you're
And I'm gonna
perfectly,
pull
you're
out.
perfectly fine.
Okay. Pull out of his mind. I glance at Shara. Glance down. Couldn't get anything.
Nothing. You got nothing from that? I mean, you were in there for a while.
I really tried. I dug deep. Couldn't find him. Captain's not in there right now.
Wait, so is he like dead or just like sleeping really hard?
I think he's sleeping really hard.
Can I do an insight check on
You
Rory?
most definitely can.
Like I'm thinking, I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel it's honorable of you to try.
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled
I don't-
stupid low.
Captain
Well-
would never lie to us, right?
I only got a 10.
Okay. You actually almost had me. I had 11.
I was
Oh!
expecting I rolled stupid low 31.
Well, I don't think my silver tongue works on this because she's more of insight checking than it's me talking. Well, I mean, I am telling a lie.
If it's deception, your silver tongue works.
Oh, okay.
No.
Then it's a then it is a can't roll lower than a 10, 18. It's an 18.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
Well, it was a thought. I mean,
So then, what's the plan? I mean, do we just hang around until they wake up?
I think we should head back to the ship. I think that's the safest place for us right now. We let these men get back to whatever work they can do to prepare for whatever's coming. Let's go check on our crew. And I turn to the Dragonborn and say, I think we've helped you all we can. I wish you luck.
Well, I thank you for the information that you provided us. Would you like to know the condition of the wards once the 2 men I sent out return?
If they return before daybreak, I plan to set sail before sunrise. An hour before sunrise.
It shouldn't take too long. I'll send a message to your ship.
Very well.
Hey, Captain,
Yes.
permission to just stay in town for a bit, help them get the other.
We're going back to the ship.
Well, I know you want to set sail. I'll be back before morning. That's just,
No. What do you want to do?
if they're gathering the other townsfolk that are sleeping and bring them to the guild hall, you know, I got muscles. I can help.
We don't have time for that. I think we can do better on the ship.
But Captain, if we're not sailing until morning, I feel a little bit responsible, you know.
There's nothing we can do for them. They're probably the safest in their own homes. Gathering everybody into one location where they can all be attacked doesn't really sound like a smart plan, does it?
I don't know. I'm not really much of a, planner. I just kind of do.
Just follow my lead. Let's go back to the ship and reconvene.
But aye, Captain.
Very well. I lead everyone back to the ship.
Okay.
When we get back to the ship, I'm going to call a private meeting in the captain's quarters.
Maybe please don't step on my keyboard.
Including, what do I call him? Brandon, Brennan, Bryant, thank you. Including Bryant and
The B.
Jenga. And I'm going to sit in my chair and I'm going to slump into the chair and pour a very huge, I pick up a wine glass, I throw it and it breaks behind me, and I grab this gigantic like mug, usually for like mead or something, and I pour a bunch of wine into that. Then I slump back into the chair. And I look at everybody and it's like, all right, so I lied.
About what? To who?
For a change, matey.
Yeah, so I did get something from the captain there, but I didn't talk to the captain. So I didn't technically lie about that. I couldn't find him. He was asleep. But I did talk to your friend, Shara. The asshole that thinks himself a god.
Oh, Captain, we're not friends.
Sarcasm, Shara. Sarcasm.
Oh, right. Sorry, it's real late.
At least that confirms that eldritch monstrosity is well and alive.
Oh, yeah.
So what did they say?
I don't know what it plans to do, but it's going to happen at sunrise, and there's probably nothing we can do about it. But it does fear, or maybe not fear, but it said that it wanted to avoid people from trying to attack it, which to me sounds like it is afraid of something and can be hurt. So maybe not really a god, right? But we don't have the manpower to take a thing like that down. And the town is asleep and we have no way of getting them up. And something is going to happen to them come morning. I don't want to be here when that happens if we can't help. I think we've done all we can. And I think we need to leave.
So it probably put them asleep then, so that they wouldn't attack it, right? That's what I'm kind of hearing here.
Yeah. If we get word, they get back to us soon, and there's something that can be done for the wards, and we can do it before sunrise, maybe we can help, but I don't know. I mean, if you guys want to, we can maybe gather up some of the people that are still awake, put them on the ship, take however many people we can, tell them to get on their ships, and sail
I
out.
mean, we could use extra crew, I'm sure.
But I don't want to be here when sun breaks, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Said something about hope you have nets.
Matey, what do you usually use nets for?
Fishing. That's why I said you can turn everyone into fish.
Or it's trying to get out by water. And we're on water.
Didn't think of that.
I'm just saying, matey. Sorry, I mean captain.
Thank you. Still, I'd rather be out to sea than anywhere near this island. But I didn't want to make decisions for you all. I just didn't want to talk about this in front of people and make them panic over something they have no control over. They've got families and people they care about here. And there's nothing we can do, and nothing they can do.
Unless we can find a way to wake them up before morning.
Unless we can do that. And-
What about you, Brian? Do you have any ideas? You seem to have some weird tricks up your sleeve.
It's concerning, I'll say that. Hope you have nets. It's ominous.
I would say Rory's a bit rattled right now, too. So, if you all wanted to do like an insight check, probably be a good moment for it.
Quick, your defenses are down. Learn all our secrets.
I, as a player, really want to, but there's been no indication to Shara that, there's something deeper than what the captain is telling the crew right now.
I would say you might be able to catch something, like her eyes keep darting pointedly to you when she says there's nothing we can do, but she's pretty quick to look away, so you'd have to beat her deception to
Yeah, I mean, if
catch
there's
that.
like a visual cue there that might tell me there's more than what we're hearing, I'd be
She's
down to
giving
do that
one.
insight,
It's just
yeah.
whether or not you guys catch it.
Because Shara, despite her not seeming to really care about much, she is quite perceptive and has decent insight.
So I'll say with this, if you're going to make a deception roll, since it is like just a wayward glance, the silver tongue ability isn't going to take place or isn't going to take effect.
That's fine. I'm cool with that because I am rattled, so she's visibly shaky and she's not. I was basically going to give myself disadvantage, so that works too.
That works as well.
But I'll just take away the silver tongue and do one roll.
I rolled an 18 on my insight.
Okay. Why are my stats hiding from me? There. Without silver tongue, I rolled a 4 on the dice, so that's a 12. So yeah, you catch on that I keep pointedly looking at you every time I say there's nothing we can do.
Captain, can I have permission for a moment to just speak freely here?
Always.
Rory, I think you're scared of whatever this is, and whatever it told you. I don't think you're telling us everything.
That's bold of you.
You gave me permission, Captain. You can't punish me for it.
No, I suppose I shouldn't. There's not any good options on things we can do. It may have revealed something to me, but I honestly don't trust a being like that to tell the truth. I think it might just want us to help it get what it wants, and it's help it eat its cake and get its cake and eat it too, essentially. But yes, it told me of something that can be done to stop it from hurting the town.
Well, Well, what is this? I mean, if we can save the town, we probably should, right?
Again, I don't believe it, and I think we would just be playing into what it wants. And it would probably just hurt the town anyway. It said something about this being its escape plan. I think if we give it what it wants, it's still going to achieve its plan, and that's gonna end up being bad for everyone anyway.
Well,
Maybe
here's
even
the thing.
worse.
Captain, if I may.
Yes.
If it be trying to escape, it means it be fearing something.
Yes.
What be it fearing, think ye?
We've revealed it. Its machinations can no longer go unseen. It has to start over.
Well,
If the
be it a
people
being that,
awaken, it'll be hunted.
be it a being that fears exposure, methinks keeping it exposed be something it won't like.
Which is why maybe the best thing we can do is to leave here and report on what
But-
happened.
Captain, what is the thing that we could do to help the town, potentially?
Expose it.
Any way I can get y'all to let this part go and just trust me that we don't want to do it?
I don't think so, Captain.
It wants you, Shara.
It wants its chosen.
Yeah. Now, how many of us really believe it would stop there? I
None,
don't.
matey, but what I be hearing is we have bait to go fishing now.
I guess we can try for a stall tactic with that.
The real question, Captain, is do ye think ye can bamboozle a god?
At the moment, as you see her hands like shaking on the goblet, maybe not.
And what
But
about after 2 more drinks of rum?
it's increasing my chances.
I like it.
She guzzles.
And it told you this, like itself, that it would leave the town alone if it got me.
Rojan, remind me, did it say it would leave the town alone, or what was its exact wording on that?
It proposed a trade.
Like the safety of the town for Shara?
Yeah.
Or the people awake?
The town for the shark.
Mm. What if you're like the last ingredient that it needs to do whatever it was wanting to do here?
Well, you know what they say, Captain. You leave the best for last.
I like your cheek.
Methinks, matey, that if this be the last ingredient, it'll do what it needs in order to acquire it. Again, methinks we have good bait to go fishing.
All right. I'm willing to go along with this plan. Personally, I still think it's better for us to tuck tail and just run, but I don't necessarily want to see everyone in this town hurt. That
We don't
doesn't
run a
feel like
god.
something I want on my conscience, but
Should we save the town, matey? Think about the rewards.
As you're having this conversation, there comes a knock at the doors of your quarters.
who is it?
It's Esteban, Captain. A letter came from you from a couple of hunters.
Deliver it. I
Yeah.
hold out my hand.
Walks in and hands you the letter and sort of just excuses himself.
Thank you.
And
I open it up.
it's just a quick sentence of all wards present and accounted for, no damage.
Crumple it up. Useless.
Burn it, matey.
They just said the wards are fine. I don't even know if we can trust them. I didn't get a chance to screen the guards.
May I quite humbly suggest to burn the letter, Captain?
Be my guest. She
Cannonball.
points at it on the floor.
Yeah, Captain Cannonball will listen to his captain here and grab the paper and burn it.
Okay. And it burns like every other piece of paper.
We're not taking chances.
Random runes just stuck on there.
Stuff can be used to scry. You never know.
Well, I can probably make contact with this thing again if we want to try to set something up. I just have to approach one of the other fallen.
When it proposed this trade to you,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see things in people that usually the rest of us don't. Did you feel like it was trying to deceive you in any way, or did it seem genuine in its offering?
It's hard to tell with just a voice. I work off of expressions, little body movements, micro expressions in the face, and from a voice that was cold and talking about the arrogance in it as well. People who are extremely narcissistic and arrogant become harder to read because everything revolves around them and they view everyone else as lesser. Therefore, they kind of
So-
have this static about themselves. So if they believe something is true, they sound earnest, but it's not necessarily the truth.
So it
I don't
might
trust it.
it might help then if you did speak to it face to face.
I mean, what I saw through that spyglass didn't seem like it had a face.
Oh yeah, no, it has several, but
Too many of
I mean, we know it has avatars. Maybe we can have a conversation with Mr. Blue again.
I don't think I would get much more from an avatar, but I wouldn't trust it.
Well,
I would
don't
try,
trust
but I wouldn't
any
trust
of
it.
this. But I mean, if there's a possibility that we can help this town, I think we got to take it.
I don't
Even
want to
if it's
sacrifice you.
risky. I'm not saying anything about sacrifice. Nah, fuck that. But if we can help the town, I mean, you said it yourself, Captain. These people, they got loved ones here. They've got family here. If I was in their shoes, I would do anything to help. You know.
Plus, matey, correct me if I be wrong, but... And I'm sure here Brian can compliment my imperfect knowledge, but... Isn't the power of a god directly correlated by the number and strength of their believers?
Question mark?
Ooh, you're muted.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
No,
No,
I was
no.
muted. A certain cat of mine was laying on my mixer. I look
Again.
over and she's like laying directly on the manual mute button. And he nods. It's like, well, they already have power, but yes, for followers, they do tend to provide them more influence in a realm.
Well, we just blew a big hole in their influence in this realm, matey. I don't think we'll find another opportunity to find it weakened.
I mean, I'm still not convinced it's a god.
And as you say that, you sort of like hear some rustling coming into the room, and Carl kind of like sneaks in. Yeah, sorry about this, but I figured this was the best place to be, probably safest place to be right now anyway. Going off of what the gentleman with the tentacle coming out of his head said, those robed whisper people aren't really much of their followers. Yes, they're a little bit, but most of his followers are out at sea. How many of you have heard of Kuatoa? Little fish people.
I will roll a history check. Natural 20. Apparently Rory knows everything about them. No. 23.
23. Yeah, so you know the tales of the Kuatoa, the little like diminutive fish race of people who seemingly have the ability to believe things into reality, including creating gods.
Uh-oh. Well, that's making things make more sense.
Yeah, the local rumor was that temple was originally built by those little fish people, and they sort of raised a god into existence, though up until now there's been no sort of proof. It sort of was like a local myth,
I've heard about
local
that.
legend.
That to be explaining the whole fishing net thing.
So it could be a lesser god then, created by underwater people. Okay. Great. The island's doomed, and we should leave. She drinks more wine.
Well, matey, there may be one thing.
One thing, I
Wait.
can't go after a god. You
What do you-
kidding me?
What do you mean what do you mean the island's doomed?
Well, you know how everyone's asleep?
Well, not everyone, but yeah.
Well, most of the people. Apparently something worse is going to happen at dawn.
Like what?
Sorry. I don't know. I didn't get a good sense of that.
So there's a chance I'm going to lose my bar.
I think there's probably more than a chance that something's going to happen to the people. No people?
No
You might need to
patrons.
move your bar.
No patrons. I'm ruined.
Take the gold you have and do what you
Captain,
can.
How long do we have?
Dawn.
He pulls out like a pocket watch. 2 hours.
Oh shit. Night, but it's gone. We don't have time.
He closes the pocket watch. Can I happen to buy passage on this ship? I don't want to be here when things get ruined.
I'm sure we can work something out.
So, Carl, besides being a bar owner, what makes you think you would be useful on this ship for us?
I just kind of smirk at Pearl, like, really? Of all times, you're gonna grill this guy?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know this was an audition, but I am a high-standing member of the Merchants Guild of all 3 of the operating islands here in the Tricorn. I have contacts everywhere. You need
Welcome
weapons, you need ammo, you need drink, you need food. Carl can get it for you.
I like this guy, Captain.
I like him too. A lot. Welcome. Guys, 2 hours is not enough time. 1 hour is not enough time to do what we've been thinking of.
It's enough time to get my gold.
Hurry.
If any of you want to come with me, grab whatever barrels of alcohol that you wish. I guess they're on the house. Feel dirty saying that.
Could you step outside and give us a minute?
Yeah, sure. Sort of just walks out, shutting the door behind him.
I just look at the group. What do you want to do? I can still try to contact the thing and try to stall, but
Well, matey, the only other potential such solution I may have beyond baiting it using Shara. Well, the only thing that I know to be able to stop a god be another god, matey.
oh, great. Awesome. That's perfect.
Kaiju
So-
fight.
You got one lying around somewhere.
Well,
I think I left mine at home.
I mean, I may have 2.
Look, I know you're the religious sort, but they may grant you powers and abilities, but somehow I don't think that your god's going to just manifest here this minute. If that was the case, then clerics everywhere would be constantly manifesting gods.
In all technicality, matey, you be sailing on me god every day.
Great. Why don't you just ask the ocean to go ahead and, take this one back?
Cannonball's gonna look slightly offended at that. And he's gonna say, fine, maybe I shall. He'll walk out of the room and slam the door.
Okay.
Um,
I
Rojan?
didn't mean to.
He's,
I just don't like religion. It's a thing with me.
he's
Sorry.
going to his cabin and he's gonna start praying to Ol Hydra and see if he can get an answer.
Roll me d20.
Sure. Religion or anything in particular you want?
Straight up d20.
Well, that's a 14.
Okay. So as you reach out to your god,
Sorry, you broke up on the one.
I said as you roll to contact your god, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break here so we can get up, stretch our legs, freshen up our drinks, and we'll find out if Ol Hydra reads your text message or not. But
Can I ask one quick question?
Sure.
With an 11 on my history roll, would I know approximately how large the population of the fish people is, and like, do they come on boats or do they swim? Like, what would I know that?
You've heard numerous sailors refer to them as the cockroaches of the sea. There isn't really a finite number that people know of, though usually when you see one Kuatoa, there are many others around it.
Okay, and as cockroaches of the sea, I assume that they're not on boats. Is that
They're on
correct?
something, but it's not a boat.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
But with that, yes, we will go ahead and take our break, freshen our drinks, stretch our legs, all that fun stuff, and we will be right back.
No, we could just pawn it off on Rory.
We
If you do,
are
we're
back.
leaving. That's Rory's decision.
ADH Adventures, thank you for that raid. Raiders, welcome on in.
Why'd you do that? Captain told us to.
Right?
Rory thought it would be a good idea, and faith in Rory.
Yes. Blame the captain. When all else fails, just blame the captain.
Ugh. All right.
So, you got a 14 when trying to summon or trying to get in contact with Ohydra, right?
Yep, and we did spill some blood in the water.
You sit at the small altar that you have in your room as a whirling black mass of ink and water sort of begins to spiral out around it.
Oop, we lost your sound, Rojan.
Evie, thank you for laying on my mute button again. So
She's
I will say
doing her best.
she's not. She's being a butt. So as I what I was saying was you see this whirling mass of like seawater and black ink begin to sort of emanate out of this small altar that you have in your room. And as it forms to probably about a foot long, its attention sort of focuses to you. Why do you call us?
All Hydra, mighty god of the sea. I call upon thee this day, for there be a threat upon thine dominion.
What threat?
These foul creatures that infect your waters. The Koatoas have created a monstrosity upon this island, and it intends to claim the soul and existence of all it can touch. Which means, by the way, no more blood sacrifices for you.
The Kuatoa have summoned another. Not surprising. But not a threat.
We hath weakened it, but unfortunately lack what it takes to finish it.
Then you must prove yourself stronger. The Kuatoa are not a threat to the sea. There are many Kuatoa who are in worship of myself, as well as other mistakes that they have made.
Rojan, you're breaking
And
up
we got me
for
again.
me.
Give me a sec.
Yep.
I'm picturing the cat sitting there
Just
going like,
Imagine the mute button on and off.
Morse code.
Morse
yeah.
code, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's pretty
Need.
much what it
Just, like,
was.
fucking with him.
No, she was passing out and her head was hitting the mute button, but then she'd wake up and then she hit it again.
Oh, that's cute. That's really cute.
I was doing a dungeon the other night, and all of a sudden everything just kind of went to hell, and the person types in, "My dash hound just jumped up on my lap and
Oh.
onto the keyboard."
Oh no.
Like they were using a controller, and I guess the dash hound landed on
Oh
the whole
no.
thing.
So
Yeah, creatures.
what I was saying was he was informing you that the Kuatoa are not a threat, that they don't need to be eliminated, as there are many Kuatoa who follow in his grace, as well as other mistakes that they have made. And if you wish to get rid of this entity that they have summoned into godhood, you need to get stronger.
So do we let it simply claim the entire town?
What happens on land is not my concern, as you know. Once I have come into full power, the sea will swallow all.
Well, matey, that's potential blood that you're wasting. But if that be your decision, I'll abide by it.
Do not attempt to persuade me into alleviating one of your problems with the meager promise of blood. There is far more out there than just in this city.
Well then, matey, mine apologies for disturbing you. And he'll, again, cut his hand and just drop more of his blood in the recipient or whatever that this thing popped out of.
And as your blood sort of pools and then begins to swirl up into this summon avatar, the water just falls back down into the basin.
He's gonna grumble something about useless and self-absorbed divinities and walk out the room.
I love how you tried to talk to him like a dog or like a child trying to promise him a treat if they smite your enemies.
I mean, look, if he wanted to tidal wave an entire town and
he could.
She, first of all, but if she wanted to tidal wave an entire town and take the entire town in the process, I was not against it.
And that's something definitely in their power.
Well, it's actually definitely in what they like to do. If you read up on their thing, it's not just vessels, it's coastal towns, it's anything. And I was basically like, hey, if you want to take the town, just kill this thing in the process. We're cool with that.
If you want to commit wanton murder simply to alleviate something that we may have brought into this world, we're cool with it.
Well, I mean, look, I never said Cannonball was a nice person. I just get shit done.
Just give us a heads up beforehand so we can get our ship out of the way.
Right?
I think Rory is organizing and giving orders to prepare the ship, and looks at Carl and goes, "You have 20 minutes."
He's already gone. Like when you excused him from the captain's chambers, he left.
All right, I'm gonna send a few crewmen after him with directions on where his bar is to help him.
Okay.
Remind me real quick. I know all the combat worthy vessels have gone after that other creature. Was there any merchant ships docked or just trading vessels, anything of that sort?
There are a couple smaller ships currently in dock.
Rory's writing something on her desk, writing a few notes.
Shara is gonna pretend to go to the bar to get the booze, but she's actually going back to the guild hall to talk to the dragonborn that was there.
Okay.
Rory clocks you leaving, and I'm gonna ask, where are you going?
He said free booze, right? If there's free booze, I'm there.
Well, I'm writing a message to the guild hall. Do you want to drop this off?
Yeah, sure. I can swing by.
You're not gonna give yourself up, are you?
No.
Insight check. It's fucking low. So 7.
I mean, she's not going to give herself up. She has no intention of giving herself up, but she has every intention of going to the guild hall, whether it's for her own purposes or to deliver a note.
Okay. Given this note, I detailed out a warning telling them to get as many of the people that are awake on ships as quickly as possible. Be back here in no more than 30 minutes, okay? Run.
Yeah, real quick though, Captain.
Yeah.
What's going to be our heading? Where are we going?
We'll figure that out when we figure it out. I don't trust anyone on here to give them our heading. We don't know who's working with that thing.
It's fair enough, I suppose.
I'll give it some thought. I'll know by the time you get back. Go.
All right. I'll take the note and go.
Muir, would you go with her?
Absolutely.
Keep an eye on her and don't let her do anything stupid.
Well, now that's a large promise.
Don't let Shara be Shara.
Don't let her do something stupid. You don't ask much. Fine.
Pearl, did you see where Cannonball went?
Actually, okay. Did I see where Cannonball went?
You saw Cannonball left the captain's quarters, and that was it.
Okay. I'll say he stormed out of your quarters, slammed the door, and that was the last I saw of him.
Okay.
Do you want him?
He'll make himself known when he's ready. I ask a crewman to make sure that he didn't leave the ship.
He shakes the crewman shakes his head. Cannonball went below deck.
Okay, that's fine.
So as go ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say to Pearl, Rory's just gonna look down at you. She's actually gonna go ahead and kind of crouch down so that she's a little bit more eye level. Pearl, I'm gonna be real with you. We've got no good options. And I don't know how much. I don't know if it's a good idea for me to try to make contact with that thing again. It said something about my mind getting destroyed. So I'm a little wary about it. I also don't know of any good that would come of it, or if it would buy us any time. It might see through my deception. I'm good at it, but if this thing is some created deity with psychic abilities of its own, that's risky. But I don't feel good about leaving the town the way it is, you know?
Well, I'm not sure we're safer on the boat than we are on land, to be quite honest.
It
But
feels safer. But yeah.
it perhaps, but I mean, you don't know, or there's no hints other than the net business
Yeah.
in terms of what's coming. We don't know where it's coming from. I
Mm.
mean, yeah, you catch fish in nets, but you catch butterflies in nets too.
I would love that. That would be nice if, just a swarm of butterflies came and kissed everybody in the cheek. I
Well,
somehow doubt that's going to happen.
true, but I mean, we don't know.
Exactly. We don't have enough information. I mean, maybe what this thing is going to do, it won't permanently harm the people and we can help. Go for help. Go somewhere else for help. We're just one ship, one crew. I don't. It's asking a lot. But I'm sorry, Pearl. I'm just venting, I guess.
Well, I mean, there's this druid that my grandfather fears, that I've seen walking on water. I don't know what, can he help? I have no idea. I don't even know how to contact him. Or if I could, I have no really good ideas here.
No,
But,
when I get in
you know,
contact with my people again, I can put some feelers out and see what people know, what they've heard.
well, if we get that chance.
Yeah.
But I suspect that the threat may focus where Shara is, so we may be doing the town a big favor by having Shara on the boat with us.
Perhaps.
I mean, what's the good of how does destroying the town settle a score. That
It's
this
something about sending her
god
a message.
Yes. Well, what kind of a message is it if a town that she has no stake in is destroyed?
Yeah. I mean, it's still a lot of people sacrificed for. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't. Maybe they just stay asleep. I've heard there's a story about a kingdom where they got cursed and everyone went to sleep until some bullshit happened and woke everybody up. Maybe it's something like that.
Well, it's strange that that explosion wasn't heard. That that bothers me. It doesn't sit right that you explode. I mean, you fire a lot of cannon off a ship and nobody hears it. Like, how does that happen?
There's a lot I don't like
And
here. This is a
and
bad
what's the
town.
point of that?
This is not a good town.
But it's interesting that you know these whispers were just going along and nobody was too worried about them till we showed up. So maybe
Well,
there's
we did bomb their temple.
well, we kind of sort of did, yeah. But
That might have, pushed things along.
but they were, I mean, it was the tiefling that approached us for a job.
Because they wanted Shara.
Well, there must be something real special about Shara then.
Of course there is.
But more special than we know, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they took a wheel and spun it and it landed on her. What do we know? But let's just get things ready. I think we're out of options. And we're out of time.
Well, if you want me to go find Cannonball and see what he's up to, I can go do that at the very least. Maybe
Sure.
check in on Jenka. I mean, we haven't seen her.
She's just been
usually
leaning
got
against
some-
the wall in the captain's quarters, muttering to herself.
Silently
actually-
judging
the whole
everyone. Silently
Actually, there was
judging everyone.
a note earlier from Jenka as to what she was
okay.
doing, and she wasn't. So that's
she's
why
in
I
her
was
cabin or
suggesting.
something? Okay.
Yeah. So
I imagine I would have dragged her out for that conversation, but she can go back to her cabin afterwards. That's fine. I just want her to be aware of everything. Yeah, go ahead and check on Cannonball. It's fine. I'll make sure the ship is getting ready.
okay. So I am going to go actively hunting for Cannonball.
I think at this time, as soon as you get downstairs, Cannonball is pretty much storming out of his room, a little peeved at the response that one of his deities of worship gave him.
I mean, so yeah, he actually doubled down on the same deity.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're double fisting the water god.
Yep. And the thing that kind of made and he's extra peeved here because it is definitely a deity who usually likes to take out coastal towns and all that stuff. So the fact that it didn't feel like it today, he's kind of like, come on, man, the one time I needed you to do this thing.
The one thing
today, all day, you
the
don't
one
feel
thing
like
I need you to
performing.
do, the thing you like doing and you don't want to do it.
Like for once.
It's like a cat.
So
You have to,
is
it has to
The
be
whole
their
town of blood
idea.
just waiting for you, but no, today you want to stay in bed. Fine.
Sorry, I do play my gods like cats. So
Oh no, it's 100% a-okay. That's great. I love it. I'm not complaining about your decision.
Like,
Cannonball is complaining about.
No. I flood the
God.
town when I want to.
So does Pearl get bowled over by Cannonball flying past, or what happens here?
Poor Pearl.
Actually, yeah, no, coming out, you'll hear him coming out and muttering exactly that. One time I needed you to perform. No, today you don't want. Like that exact monologue. He's muttering it as he slams the door to his room closed.
He'll stop mid-sentence seeing Pearl and say, "Yes, matey."
Anything I can help with?
Not unless ye can convince a stubborn deity to do what it's supposed to do and actually respect its domain. Destruction.
Possibly not.
He's gonna like just calm down a little bit after that, seeing Pearl is still in front of him, and he'll just take a deep breath, just kind of rubbing his temple, which makes, the tentacles on his forehead just kind of stop like wiggling angrily and just kind of slicks them back a little bit, and he's just like,
Ugh. Fine, matey. What may I do for ye?
Well, just had kind of an interesting but non-productive discussion with Rory. We're just trying to come up with options. I don't know if you've got, I have nothing, and it doesn't sound like things are going so well with what you had thought of.
Nay, sadly enough. My other option, as I said, matey, was to simply draw out this thing's, well, whatever true body or core or whatever it be having, using Shara as bait, but then what do we do with it after it comes out? If this thing survived 13 cannonballs, I don't think one more, he points at himself, is going to do that big of a difference.
So I wasn't in the room when you went with Shara, which I still think was a bad idea, but you managed to get out of there. So how did you do that?
Now, remember ye, at the beginning of our journey, when we picked up these weird objects in the basement, remember the painting with the weird thing coming out of it?
Yeah, the one that Shara jumped on.
Correct, that's the one. Well, I may or may not have picked something in that basement myself.
A smaller painting?
Nay.
Oh.
But, as I said, something similar. And let's just say that thing did not enjoy too much this other thing trying to eat my soul. Again, gods are fickle beings. They're very territorial.
again, just like cats, this is my thing. Do not take it away from me.
Do you think it would help you again?
I don't know if it has the strength to do so, matey, to be completely honest with you. The first time alone seemed to have been much for it. I don't know if a second encounter would be any different. Mind you, I don't know what state this thing is in after eating 13 cannonballs to the face, so your guess is as good as mine.
And yeah, no, on that note, Cannonball definitely like gives it this little shrug of I'm really not that sure what the result would be. I mean, if we want to bet on it, we can, but no idea how that's going to turn out.
Can you talk to it, and like, if it's not a painting, do you talk to it?
Sure, let me go find a corner.
Okay. I'll just give you some space, Cannonball. Just let me know how it works out.
Appreciate it, matey. I'll come back out the door in a few minutes.
So guess we're going back in my room.
And it's like as soon as you close your door, you just hear the voices of Trot. We have nothing to talk about.
That's what I thought. Thank ye. I'm turning right back out the door. God damn it.
Yeah, like, he's not even gonna try. He's just like, yeah, no,
No.
yeah, fine.
You pretty much
180
you have a very antisocial symbiote.
No.
Pearl just has been kind of leaning up against the wall, and she just kind of slumps down and sits on the floor.
Yeah, no, the moment I come out, it's like, nope.
He's not helping the taxi driver today. Well, taxi driver, the coach driver today.
You hear in your head, I helped you enough by saving your ass down there.
Aye.
Don't make a habit of it.
Well, matey, the faster I can get ye to Ravon, the faster ye can get out of me.
Agreed.
Does Pearl hear this?
No.
All right. Yeah, no. And just make sure ye hold up to your end of the bargain.
Yes.
Then I'll get ye there as fast as, well, as fast as
Possible.
the universe permits, we'll call it that.
So as this is going on, Shara, you make your way towards the guild.
Yeah, I let myself in. I'm looking for the same guy that we spoke
Doors
to
wide
before.
open. Yeah, he's at the front still talking to people.
Just kind of walk up to him and tap him on the shoulder to get his attention and like crook my finger and take a couple steps back.
He excuses himself from the group and he walks closer to you. Any news?
Yeah, and I'm afraid it's all bad.
I guess I was a fool to hope for anything good.
There's nothing wrong with hoping. It just didn't work out in this case. I'd like to give you the full breakdown, but there really isn't time. I see that there's a few ships in dock. You got to get all these people on those ships, all the ones that are capable of getting themselves on there. If they have any family that's asleep that they want to try and save, bring them with if you can, but save the ones that are awake first. We've got a little over an hour, maybe, before whatever this is does something terrible to this town.
He kind of just takes a deep breath and nods. I'll see what I can do in a fashion that isn't going to spark panic.
Right. I'm here. I'll help. If anyone needs to be carried, I will carry them. You can say no, but good fucking luck stopping me. I'm helping.
Look, the way you can help is to make sure that anybody out there makes it back. Take as much time as you need going through the town, seeing if you can find anyone who's awake. Guaranteed there are people who are hunkered down after what happened, panicking. We haven't been able to get a search party out just yet, and if what you're saying is in an hour all hell's gonna break loose, we need to find as many people as possible.
Yeah, I can do that. Muir help here. He'll help me.
You can, if you find them, direct them back to here. I'll make sure they get on a ship.
Yeah, we'll spend like maybe half an hour going through as many places as we can. We don't want to cut it any closer than that, but kind of glances down at Mir, then back at the Dragonborn. I'm taking one of those ships. I don't mean like taking, like I'm stealing it. Like I'm sailing it. I'm not getting back on my ship. I'll take as many townspeople on it as possible. I'll follow your lead or whoever you're putting in charge of this to get these people to safety, including myself. I want to get to safety too, but I feel like I might kind of be at the center of this. I'm not putting my ship in danger by boarding it again.
I'll do what I can to make sure a ship is ready.
All right. I'll start looking through houses.
Okay.
I'll meet you back here in a half hour.
Sitting there, or he's gonna be mad.
So time passes as Mir and Shara begin to go from place to place. For anybody that you do find awake and hunkered down, what exactly are you telling them?
I think I will just tell them that the guild has ordered an emergency evacuation due to the recent happenings in the town, and that they have to report to the guild hall immediately.
Okay. All right. So you find probably about, in your half hour of doing this, you find about 5 or 6 people who are awake. Some say that you can see that they're already packing up. They said they're leaving the city. They're not going out by sea because they don't trust that monster that's out there isn't going to sink a ship. They said that they're going to leave Echo Bay and they're going to go.
I cannot hear anyone right now.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear us now?
That is a definite no.
That is a definite no. But they said that they're going to make their way inland to one of the smaller mining towns, and maybe after all of this blows through, maybe seek a transport off the island. But as this is happening, those of you on the ship notice that about 15 minutes into their search, all hell breaks loose as you see people pretty much storming out of the guild hall, and they're just clambering to whatever boats that they can get, and full-on panic has overtaken the mob. You see people trampling over one another, shoving each other off the docks into the water, clambering, trying to get onto the boat as fast as possible, and not even waiting for other people to get on. As soon as certain individuals get on the boats begin to pull off. People beginning to jump in the water, trying to swim after the boats, trying to leap from the dock onto the boat. There is just flat out panic.
Do those ships have armaments that I'm seeing?
They've got armaments to defend themselves, but they're not warships.
Can I fire a warning shot to get them to stop and let people aboard?
You can try to fire a warning shot, but firing a cannon around a dock, you're probably going to cause some collateral damage as well.
To the docks, I could care fucking less.
No, to the people and to the
I don't want to
ships
do that. I just want to fire it like into the ocean, into the direction like where they were trying to head.
Unless you begin to order the ship to pull out, you're not going to be able to do that. The cannons aren't really directional.
What about a flare? Does she have anything like? We have anything like that?
You've got You've got a couple signal flares, but the ships have already started to like pull out. And
we'll
then
take people on.
Yeah, and then people like turn and they look at you, and it's not even waiting for your permission. They just all begin to rush the ship.
I ordered the crew to try to organize it and slow them down, but we'll take like children first if they've got a parent, children and parent. I'm not going to say women and children. I'm going to say children and if they have a parent.
Okay. With the amount of people that are here, you're taking on an extra about 20.
Okay.
For a
and
short.
When I feel like I'm going to trust Bryant to tell me like when we've reached capacity.
You're already at capacity.
Okay.
You're at crew capacity, but he informs you that the cargo hold is empty. You guys have no cargo at the moment that you're shipping. If we make this a short jaunt, we can possibly get by without too much issue to the crew. If anything, we can take them back to the scrapyard, and they can find their way to Tide Light from there. It's only a couple days from here.
Right. I trust you to let on who we can let on. We'll stop where we need to stop. Just try to get people away from the fort.
He kind of signals the people manning the gangplank just to let everybody on. And as soon as they notice that you're just willingly let people on, the commotion starts to calm down a little bit as they begin to just slowly the panic slowly begins to reside.
Okay. And I'm also going to help by after giving orders, keeping an eye, I'm just going to start playing a gentle song that's calming with the intent of kind of keeping everyone organized and calm.
Okay. And as they get on, Bryant and a couple of the other deckhands begin to take them down into the cargo hold, where there is definitely enough room for these people to at least sleep. And as that half hour completely passes, Shara, you and Muir come back to the dock, and the only boat that is now in the harbor is yours.
Do I see any of the guild members around that were awake?
You don't.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go back to the guild hall real quick. Just to check to see if there's anyone left there, to see if that Dragonborn is still around.
You've come back, and you find that the guild members that were awake have been slaughtered. And not in like a professional manner. This is for shock and awe.
Oh shit. What the fuck?
Is there anything strange about their bodies? Like, is there anything that's off about the color of their blood, or is there any weird substances around?
It looks like the wounds were caused with by a blade. Like, there's no discoloration in the blood. There's no sign of any sort of poison or any other sort of toxin that was introduced to them. It was just like surgical brutality.
Is that white dragonborn among them?
Yes.
Are the two guards that he sent out to look at the things, are they among the dead?
Pretty much every guild member who was awake has been slaughtered.
Oh shit.
But those sleeping, untouched.
Is there any inside of the guild hall that are asleep?
Just
any people, any civilians in here that are asleep?
Yeah, there are a ton of them. Like, you saw the bodies when you walked in that were asleep, and just along the walls of the guild hall itself, none of them have been moved.
Is Mira still with me?
Yep.
We'll turn to Mira. Help me get these people outside of the guild hall. They don't need to see this when they wake up. We'll just put them outside.
Do we have time?
You do not. Like, you are already cutting it close. You have a half hour before sunrise.
Rory's ordered the ship to cast off at this point because she can't risk all these people, but she's leaving a longboat and 2 crew members behind to assist.
Who are you leaving behind?
You say Pim.
Pim
Pim and Esteban.
and
Got it.
Esteban. Yeah,
Okay.
I trust them. They're capable sorts.
At this point, though, Cannonball will say one thing to Rory, and he will say this though. Matey. I mean, Captain. Sorry.
Captain Matey.
Old habits.
I don't take it personally. It's fine.
Appreciate that, Captain. You are, as usual, quite generous. If I may make a small recommendation.
Go for it.
Not in front of the crowd, preferably.
Let's go to my cabin then.
Appreciate.
So I'm assuming once they do get to the cabin, Cannonball here will turn to Rory and say this one thing. Due to the, as I'm sure you've noticed, invasive nature of what we be dealing with. And I hate to say this, but all these random people you are allowing on board.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've got people that are working with the thing on board.
And methinks it be not a good idea that those people that be working with, quote unquote, as ye say, the thing, make it to Tide Light. Last thing we need is giving this thing a new basin of population.
I agree. Well,
Mayhaps we have to do difficult things later.
I understand.
And should ye have a way of picking the two apart?
You have a way too, don't you?
He kind of looks a little like
Not as clear as yours, I'll say.
Well,
And
whatever skills we have, we will put to work to try to sort through these people as best we can. Anyone suspect gets the plank.
well, old Hydra will eat tonight, or within the next few days. Thank you, matey. I mean, Captain.
and then
Right.
again once
Captain
more.
Matey. Just call it just Sith.
That's fine. It's your way.
So back at Guild Hall. Any attempt to move these bodies is almost nigh impossible. As you try to lift them, and like these people don't look like they weigh much. Maybe, the larger ones, maybe 200, but that's cake for the both of you. But you try to lift them, and it's feeling like you are trying just to deadlift a giant like block of stone. They are just not budging.
You guys hear a loud, insistent brass bell in the background.
Tara, I regret to say this, but whomever did this, there's a chance they're aboard the boat with everyone else.
And the
Our
door, the doors are wide open. You can hear a pair of footsteps running into the guild hall as Esteban and Pim are there. Like, guys, we got to get going. We are cutting it close here. Captain's left a rowboat for us, but we need to go.
We also might have a problem.
One problem at a time.
Go. Just go. I'll catch up. I have to cover these bodies with sheets or something.
They're-
These people cannot see them when they wake up.
I don't think
Look.
they're waking up.
We don't know that. They might wake up in the morning.
The town is doomed in the morning. That was the warning. They're already dead. We have to go.
Fuck. All right, just let's go.
We'll get our
drag you, and I don't like that idea. So let's go.
As Pim comes over and he kind of like puts a hand on your arm. We'll get revenge later. We gotta live first. We can't bring the bastards to justice if we're dead.
Never thought I'd agree with you, Pim.
I'm full of surprises.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put that other form of yours to use once we find these people. This thing.
Point me at him. As he kind of just grins as he's running off.
I will reluctantly go with them.
Okay. And you get onto the boat, and Esteban kind of looks at Pim like, all right, kid, we need the big guy's powers. We need to get to the ship. And he's like, okay, if we sink, it's not my fault. And he just takes that dagger out and he cuts his hand and begins to just run it along his forearm again as his body begins to shift into that half ogre state. And he just grabs the oars and begins to just full strength, pulling you guys along. And thankfully the ship isn't out too far. And with Pim's strength, you're able to catch up at a decent speed. And as you're climbing up, the hour is up as the sun begins to rise. Who is on deck right now?
Rory's on deck. Is basically glaring down at Shara and Mira right now, and is starting to walk towards them as the sun starts rising. That catches her attention. She already ordered everyone to the minute that our crewmates came aboard. We weren't even gonna fucking bother with the longboat and reattaching it. We're just booking it.
Just leave it. We can get
just
a new one.
We can get a new one. Fuck it. Like, just full sails. Book it.
Those of you who are on deck,
I would be in the
crow's nest.
Or Pearl would be, but I wouldn't be there. But
pulling away, Rory, you become aware of another individual on the ship, standing at the front, hands behind its back, very well put together purple suit. A very familiar blue tiefling.
I order fire and point at that tiefling.
And gunshots,
crewmates have guns.
Gunshots and, spears and everything are thrown, and they turn it into Swiss cheese, but it's still standing as the holes just slowly close.
Well, that means keep firing.
I can't say that I didn't expect any other form of hospitality.
Get off my ship.
In due time. I just wanted you to see the beauty unfold. I will say that I applaud not turning Shara here over to me. Not many people would be willing to let an entire city die just to save one friend.
That's not what happened.
It's not. I believe I gave you a deal.
I believe I don't fucking trust anything you say.
You're smart. But if you would have given me Shara, the city would have been saved.
For now.
True. But now we live with the choices we made.
Mm-hmm. And how many more cities would have gone down if I had given you what you wanted?
He says that, he just kind of brings a finger to his lips. And there is just this echoing, maddening, screaming and hollering and howling coming from Echo Bay itself, as all the individuals who were asleep awaken. And like a thundering herd, they begin to pour out from various buildings, tearing through the streets outside the guild hall, and they are all running off the deck and into the water. Blackwater D&D, thank you for that raid. As more and more and more of these bodies begin to pile up in this water, you begin to see the water itself turn a very deep crimson. And then there's just this audible crack of thunder. And that strange gray-like haze of the light of the wall of the storm that surrounds this tricorn slowly begins to envelop Echo Bay. Turns his attention back to Rory. This could have all been avoided.
Stop talking and leave my ship. Nobody cares what you have to say. You are nothing but lies and evil.
I have not lied at once.
With your
Get off my
permission,
ship.
Captain.
As Cannonball will walk up next to Rory here.
Go ahead.
We're gonna cast silence on this thing,
Okay,
if you don't mind.
very well.
I believe the captain said, "Enough out of ye."
Hmm.
You're on her ship, her rules.
And silence is just an AoE. There's no save or anything to it, correct?
Yep. No sound coming in, no sound going out.
And he stands there for a moment and looks annoyed and shakes his head and reaches into his coat pocket and just tosses out a well-folded letter and sort of gives a very gentleman-like bow as he dissipates into a pool of salt water.
Mop.
Aye.
Cannonball will grab the mop.
Let's get out of here.
Aye, aye, Captain. You've heard them, mateys. Up the anchor, set the sails.
And the helmsman at the point times calls down, "What be our heading?"
Captain?
Back the way we came.
Back to the shipyard.
Aye.
But don't go into port yet. We've got work to do before we bring this kind of trouble upon the people of the scrapyard.
Aye, Captain.
So what speed do you want to travel here? Are you going full sail, half sail?
Full sail to get clear of the bloody water and just I want that out of sight. I want everything to do with this city and that port out of sight.
Pretty much just put it behind you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want the people we have on board to have to think about that horror, or see it rather. They're going to have to think about it, but
Understandable. And then once it's out of you, what do you want to still go full sail?
we'll slow but keep fairly close to shore because we don't want to run into that beast out at sea right now. And we're gonna keep an eye out though. Like, well, no, I guess we'll go kind of out a little bit because I want to keep an eye out for the other ships that were sent out after that beast to see if I catch sight of anybody.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have our people in the crow's nest keep an eye out for any other vessels as we make our way back. We encountered the creature in those waters, so in that direction. So there's a fair chance that some of those ships went in that direction. And I guess Rory's gonna go up to Shara for after everything happens. And what took you so long?
We had to save as many as we could.
Okay.
As a note, everybody who was awake was dead.
What do you mean? We saved
were
what we
killed.
could. In the guild? The guildsmen? Who killed
Every
them?
one of them.
What killed them?
I have no idea. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was someone aboard one of the ships. Maybe it was multiple people.
And why?
They were
So they didn't
put on
interfere.
display. I think they were put on display for us.
Unfortunately, we didn't have a chance to look around more originally, but there could be more, or it could have been just there.
This isn't our fault. This was that thing's decision.
I don't disagree.
It was a decision that we prompted, though, that I prompted.
Don't.
I'm not blaming myself for it, but I'm also not going to deny that I had a role in it.
Giving things like that what they ask for rarely works out for the better. It may seem like a better option at the time, but from all the stories I've read, it usually doesn't turn out good in the end. Let's just do what we can to make sure this doesn't happen again. Tell the right people. I think I've got some work to do soon.
Yeah, with your permission, Captain, I'm not feeling like taking the next, few shifts, so I think I'm just going to take some time for myself.
Every inch of this ship is filled and crowded with people. I think I even have several in the captain's quarters right now, at this point. I probably let, some of the children in there to sleep.
Yeah, because
Around the hag books.
Bryant did, oh god, if they get a hold of the hag books.
Those are very secure.
Not the smut ones that you left on your shelf.
Those are not very secure.
That's what I'm saying.
Bryant has informed you that he was able to get the 20 some odd people who were clambering onto the ship down situated down into the cargo hold of the ship. There's definitely enough room for them down there since the hold itself is currently empty.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess I could leave my quarters open for any of my officers who might need to make use of it. But if we need the space, basically, I let it be known that people are welcome to rest in there. But if there's no one in there right now, I offer it to Shara.
I appreciate the offer, Captain, and I may make use of it. I just want to, stay top deck for a bit, get some
Very well.
fresh air.
You could always take a turn in the crow's nest or just nap in the crow's nest and let someone else keep watch.
I might do that.
And she kind of just pats Shara on the shoulder.
I think Shara's just gonna give her a nod and leave at this point. But she's gonna go collect the letter that was dropped since nobody else mentioned they were picking it up.
Okay.
Is there anything written on the outside of it?
Not a word, but again, it's just an image of a finger in front of a pair of lips.
I'm gonna open it up and read it, or look at it if it's, a picture.
So you open it up and you look at it, and it's a map.
Does it have a trail on it, or is it just a map of a specific place?
It's a strange drawing of a jungle. And in one centralized location amongst the trees, there's just an X. It says, "Look for me here."
Just gonna kind of look at the map for a bit and look out to sea and think about it for a good few minutes before tapping on her crab bag that I keep forgetting I have. And just kind of hold the letter down near the opening of it. Hold on to this for me. Keep it safe.
Your crab crawls out of the satchel and just snips at the piece of paper as it's sucked into the bag of holding.
And I'm just gonna kind of hang out at the bow of the ship for a while.
Ignore the sounds of Rory throwing up everything in her possible off the side of this ship.
You know, it's probably a common sound on a ship. Not necessarily common from Rory, but just common in general.
Mm-hmm. Most of the time, that's just Pim.
I mean, especially a crowded ship right now. I'm sure not everybody here has sea legs.
Definitely not the kids. All right. So as you set out away from Echo Bay, now with a full crew, but now carrying a few civilians as well. Few haunting images left behind as to what transpired.
You could say that.
Unsure of what awaits you in the future as your ship begins to sail out into deeper water. That is where we are going to end for this week.
Dark.
Oh.
But we will be back next week as the stream should pick up the normal schedule once again. I start my normal schedule next week, so I should be able to continue DMing Tricorn Isles and Destiny Forge during the week, though the times are going to move back. The start times are going to move back to 8 o'clock. That way it gives me enough time to get home and get situated before we have to go live. It'll be 8 to 11:30, so we're only losing about a half hour worth of play, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so tomorrow, unfortunately, there will not be an episode of Destiny Forged, as I'm not going to be home until well after 8 o'clock. So that's on hold for one more week, and then we will come back next week on Tuesday for another episode of that. Upcoming this Saturday is another episode of Wayward Wanderers, which is our Pathfinder 2 Extinction Curse campaign run by Azarin. And then we'll be back here on Monday for another episode of Tricorn Isles, on Tuesday for another episode of Destiny Forged, and then on the upcoming the following Saturday, we'll have another episode of Withered Wastes, which is another 5th edition campaign that I run for our wonderful cast members. This is your first time here, or if you missed any of today's episode or previous episodes, we've got everything over on our YouTube channel. It's all of our past campaigns, past one-shots, holiday specials. Everything could be found over there. And I think that is it for now. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will catch you Saturday for Wayward Wanderers, not Withered Wastes. Till then, have a good one.